our success should be measured by people wanting us to be their coach. We should be measuring our success on people putting their hand up for another season to play again. We don't want kids dropping out. We want kids to keep playing. We want parents to say, hey, I want you to coach my kid again. Are you coaching again?
This is Coach to Coach, where we talk junior basketball coaching in a relaxed, practical way. I'm Jace, and these are your fast break chats. Let's get into it. All right, welcome to another episode of Coach to Coach. We've got actually a really cool conversation to have tonight with Kevin McAllister. Thank you for being here tonight, mate.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
We have crossed paths through our sons playing basketball together. It was a fun season.
It's a great season. I think the kids learn a lot, and then, they're going from strength to strength right now.
They have, that's right. The growth has continued, and a lot of that's foundational, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Kevin's actually working with a few different programs at the moment. I'll let him talk through. Let's quickly get through the Fast Five. All right, let's go. How long have you been coaching?
I've been coaching for about 4 years now, and that's a mixture of domestic and representative basketball.
Okay, great. What teams are you currently coaching with?
At the moment, I'm only coaching an under-12s girls team.
Great. Why do you coach? I love this question.
Coaching I fell into it. Yep. It was a situation where they needed a coach. They called out for one, and I was waiting for someone else to put their hands up. Didn't end up happening. I said, look, if it has to happen, I'll coach. Yep. And that was the start of it, and it's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. Coaching's great, and it's challenging, but it was the opportunity that I needed.
Yeah. Sometimes these things find you, don't they?
Definitely.
Fabulous. Was there someone who had an influence on how you coach the game?
Definitely. I've had many coaches that I've either tried to mimic or tried to learn from. And that's changed over time as well, I think. Yeah. I think initially when I looked at some coaches, I thought success was the success of a coach meant winning games and winning premierships. And then I've learned from other coaches, and I've changed my style to mimic theirs. And it's much more about the development, the love of the game. And I think winning comes from that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And do you have a favourite professional player?
Honestly, there's things I love about many players. Yes. And I think there's no perfect player. I tend to like the players that are the hard-working players, the unsung heroes, the people who are always putting in 100% of effort, not so much the flashy players. But yes, I don't have a favourite, but I do like watching a lot of players.
I think that view of players comes from a bit of maturity.
I think so.
I think that we realise that there's so much more to the game. Like the more you can bring to the game in different angles and channels, the more awesome you are at the game, realistically.
Well, I think and that's one of the things I think we'll touch on later. But I think one of the best things I like to see about basketballers is what they do when they don't have the ball.
Yeah,
it's the work that they're putting in to help the team, not so much the flashy player who will hit the game-winning shot or who will, break open a play. I really want to see those players who are working really hard for the team at all times.
Yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant. There's a few people that have said, they love the 1% players. That's brilliant. All right, so the topic we thought we would cover off tonight, your passion for coaching basketball sort of centres mostly around coaching young female athletes.
Yeah. So I think what we find in youth basketball is it tends to be quite heavily skewed towards boys. When you look at the representative sides, how many boys try out, how many teams there are, how competitive it is. Also around the training as well, there are a lot more options open to boys. And I think the girls' side of basketball is fantastic. It's getting better and better every single year. And it's getting bigger and bigger every year. So I think my focus is to get as many girls playing basketball as we can, and keeping them in basketball for longer. I think it's really important The boys will continue to have their competitions, and there's a lot of opportunities for them. I want to make sure girls have as many opportunities.
Just as many, that's right.
Have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, look, it's a subject very close to my heart. Obviously, I coach girls as well, so I'm excited to talk about some of this stuff tonight. So we wanted to look at, I guess, that youth development and what coaching girls specifically right from the start looks like, because that's kind of where your journey starts.
Yeah.
Certainly early on, Yeah. So to kick off the conversation, when you're working with young female athletes, what mindset qualities do you think make the biggest difference in whether they improve and enjoy the game? Like, what sort of things, is there something that you've seen in girls' mindset sort of parameters that helps keep that love for the game growing?
Yeah. So I think with what I've noticed with training girls compared to boys is that boys are much more willing to make mistakes, and they're much more okay with it. And I think when you've got younger athletes who are girls, you need to have an environment that really encourages them to make mistakes, and it's just about having a go, putting in effort, and you're rewarding the effort rather than
the result.
Yeah. I think what we find with especially younger boys, they're very result driven. So if you're training them on a new skill, the end result is what they're aiming for.
The effectivity of the skill.
Exactly. Yeah. So their enjoyment comes from the result. And what we're seeing with girls is they the more encouraging you are, the better the environment it is for them to fail and be okay to fail. And the reward on the effort is what will get them to the result. And they will actually get there a lot faster than the boys. They're very good at following those instructions. And once you have the right environment for them to train in, to learn, to fail, to get better, and that feedback loop based on effort, the girls will then enjoy the process and they will get much better at basketball. That will teach them to keep working hard and then to fall in love with the game. And it's not result driven at the end of the day. So when they lose basketball games, I've seen this as I've been coaching, the result isn't as
You're less hinged on it, aren't they?
Yes, yeah. It's much more of, we played really well.
Yeah.
Our effort was really high. I'm proud of what our effort was, rather than we lost by 5 points and that's bad.
Those things can be acknowledged though, yeah?
Oh, of course they can be acknowledged, and I think...
But they don't need to be laboured over.
They don't need to be laboured over. And I think with any youth athlete, we should be rewarding effort rather than the result.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's probably the most pivotal change I made in coaching my girls this last season, was that we started winning purely based on effort.
Exactly. And effort's one of those things that I always talk to any kid that I train. If you give me 100% effort for the whole game and we lose, I can't be more proud of you.
Correct.
That's exactly what I want to see. Some days when we play sports, the other team is better than us. We can't help that.
Absolutely.
But if you give me full effort, that's all we can ever do. And we just keep improving. With full effort, we will often beat teams that we probably shouldn't beat, because we are working so hard as a team. And that is also, I think something I've learned a lot about coaching recently. Coaching isn't so much about just teaching kids to win basketball. We're teaching them life skills. We're trying to help these kids become good adults. And by that I mean we teach them how to deal with adversity. We teach them how to deal with failure. We teach them that working hard for something, there is a long payoff towards that as well. Not everything is instant gratification. And there's a journey that everyone has to take. Your journey won't be the same as someone else's. And it's about hanging in there for as long as you can, and working really, really hard and rewarding the effort rather than results.
And I guess, isn't that one of the most beautiful things about sport in general? There is a constant feedback loop on effort. Put the effort in, the reward comes. So if anybody wants instant gratification, play some sport. It's an incredible asset, I think. So, right. So girls often seem to experience confidence differently to boys in sport. Is there something that you've learned along, the last few years of working with girls that can help them back themselves and, take risks and handle those mistakes? I know we've talked about, garnering an environment that evokes that, but what does that look like? What messages are we sharing, and how are we portraying that message about have a go?
I think the biggest thing that I see with young girls when we're playing basketball is just the consistent messaging around what we're trying to achieve. When often I see in a lot of youth basketball games, you'll have children who will miss a shot and then you'll see their shoulders
drop.
You'll see them not run as hard the next time, and you'll sometimes see coaches bench them instantly. And what it needs to be is this constant encouragement to keep going out there and going again.
Despite the adversity.
Yeah, and sometimes it's about celebrating what they did well, even though they've made a mistake. It might be, it's not so much a mistake. They may have missed the shot, but it was the right decision.
Yeah.
And once you take away that fear of failure, the fear of, I guess, consequence when in terms of making an error, and you're teaching them that the error isn't important, it's how you respond after that, your next action. And once you continuously have a message that encourages the opportunity to make mistakes and keep going and keep fighting back, and then you can talk about that afterwards and say, hey, you know what? I didn't even count how many shots you were missing. I didn't see any of the mistakes. What I saw is the effort that you put in afterwards and how hard you worked, and that's what I'm focused on. And you were amazing. That does absolute wonders for kids, and it does. I mean, even for adults, I think that gets lost over time, and I think coaching can sometimes be a very difficult balance on the coach itself.
Yes.
And you can often have doubts with how well you're performing because you're not seeing the end result straight away. But you will get there if you can encourage a team that is looking to continually keep learning from their mistakes and keep improving and working hard.
And I think one of the other things that needs to be, I guess, consistently reminded to coaches is the importance of consistency.
Exactly. It can
I was
be
tempted
difficult
to see how many consistencies I could fit in one sentence, but I think there was enough.
No. And I think that's the challenge of being a coach as well. Coaches can often feel like they've had a failure if the team isn't winning. And some parents may also add to that, where they look at their kids and their kid's not in a winning team and say, well, this coach is no good.
No good, yeah.
And I think as coaches, we can be pretty tough on ourselves in thinking that our measure of success as a coach is winning. But I think what I'm trying to teach a lot of the coaches that I work with and a lot of the people that I speak to about coaching is that our success should be measured by people wanting us to be their coach. We should be measuring our success on people putting their hand up for another season to play again. We don't want kids dropping out. We want kids to keep playing. We want parents to say, hey, I want you to coach my kid again. Are you coaching again? Please tell me you're coaching again. And I think that is a much a better way to measure our success as a coach, rather than just the wins and losses. I think there's been plenty of research done on youth athletes overseas, especially in America. winning isn't the main reason why kids play sport. It's not the main reason. They're playing because they enjoy the game. They're playing because they want to be challenged. They're playing because they want to get better. It's not about winning. And as coaches, we focus sometimes on winning a bit too much.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that it needs to be a balance. We've talked about that. Like we acknowledge that, but one can't be without the other.
Correct. And
I think that's the key point.
I think building a winning mindset and a winning team involves building kids that are resilient
Yes.
and can bounce back from mistakes and keep developing and getting better, and that want to compete. Obviously, you don't coach to lose, you're coaching to win, but winning through set plays and very specific roles and structure isn't a long-term strategy to keeping kids in sport and getting them to become better players.
Yeah, it's a short-term gain, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, that kind of leads into my third question, because there's often tension between developing players for the future and winning games today. How do you balance that teaching skills, building resilience, and still competing? Because, as I say, I don't believe that it should ever be completely excluded. The point of sport or game is the point of it is winning, as in the final point. There's a journey to that point, but it can't be neglected. So how do you think? I suppose the balance changes, doesn't it, depending on.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think I can talk to my my coaching experience. When you're in a season where it's your time, basically, you have kids who are at the right age, who are at the right skill levels, you will win, and you will just keep working to improve their ability to win. But generally, the way with basketball works, you'll move up an age group, you'll change different grades, and that's when you won't be able to win through just plays alone. You need kids to get better at the sport. You need kids to have better skills. You need kids to learn how to play what's in front of them. Coaches, plays, and all those strategies, they are a fantastic starting point. But as soon as the whistle blows, they may start to run the play. It falls down. It breaks down. Kids need to be able to adapt to that. And I think going back to balancing that, I think at the end of the day, development is always the best solution, and it's just how you communicate that to your team and to parents. Parents obviously want to see their kids win, but I think if parents can see where their kids have started from at the start of a season to where they end up, they can definitely appreciate and enjoy that as well, as long as you're honest and open about what the intention is at the start of the season.
Well, that was my sort of final question. What do those conversations look like? Will you sit down and talk with your team about what we're trying to achieve for the season? Will you sit down and talk with your teams about to the parents and say, what are we? Communication is key. All right. So what do those conversations actually look like? Do you say, all right, here's what we're working on and here's why? Or how does that go?
I think it really depends on the group that you have at the time. But I think what you can pick up from the initial training sessions, initial games in grading, you'll get a quick understanding of how your team performs, areas that they can improve on. And it's just about being realistic about their current level, and what you're trying to aim for. If you have a team that is far ahead of the competition, your aim will be to win and take home that championship. But if you're bottom ages in that competition, and you've moved up grades and it's significantly more challenging, that conversation I think it's good to have with the parents as well. And I think the more transparent you can be with parents up front about what your intentions are for the season, it just helps it go a long way. And I think it makes that conversation a lot easier when they're seeing their kids in different roles, doing different things. One of the big things is I like to make sure that every kid learns how to do every role. I think it's super important for your biggest, tallest players to learn how to dribble. They're not always going to be the biggest, tallest kid. They're not always going to be able to be your center. And the shortest kids on the court may one day be the tallest kids on the court. So
absolutely,
it's really important to give them skills that help them play basketball no matter where they end up.
Across the board.
And completely across the board, and make sure that they, again, as much as we teach them basketball, teach them life skills, teach them how to deal with the adversities that come with sport. And there are a lot of them, and teach them how to have strong mindsets to really keep pushing forward, no matter what's thrown at them.
Yeah, absolutely. So your coaching experience over the last few years has sparked something for you. Tell us about the Lynx Academy.
Yeah, so the Lynx Academy, we're very proud of this. I'm a co-owner of the Lynx Academy. It's an all-girls basketball academy where we're getting some of probably the best under 12s and under 14s girls coming through it. And it's not just the ones who are already playing representative basketball. We're getting girls who have an interest in playing representative basketball. Okay. We're building that confidence, that mindset to compete and
to push themselves.
One of the biggest things that we teach our athletes is game IQ. So it's about understanding in certain situations the multitude of options that you have, and rather than teaching very specific plays or presses, which is very common in young age representative basketball. We're teaching them how to look up, see what the options are, how to use their teammates, how to do work off the ball. I think a lot of basketball training in academies often focus on the ball carrier and not really what you can do without the ball. So
That game IQ one is a really apt one for me, because one of my least experienced players on Saturday, I said to her after the game, I said, you found some absolutely magnificent positions on the court for opportunities, for shooting opportunities, for steal opportunities. She said, the shots didn't go in. I said, I don't actually give a crap. The fact that you knew where to be, that's the hardest thing to teach.
Exactly. And I think just general spacing, understanding where you should be or where you could be, and how you can help a team. That's exactly the sort of stuff that most coaches and we have trouble sometimes too teaching that. It comes through experience.
It does. But a good, common, consistent conversation around it definitely helps.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we're very blessed in the Knox area to have quite a large girls basketball program. And there are a lot of, there's a lot of interest in girls basketball, which is fantastic.
That's awesome.
And we want to see as many girls as we can go through the system, go into representative, play great basketball, because it's really exciting right now. There's heaps of opportunity. And I think, that's what's definitely inspired us to build this academy, to continue working with these amazing athletes who will hopefully go on to play great basketball, and if they don't, they're going to be great people.
Absolutely,
because we are definitely giving them the right tools to tackle whatever life throws at them.
Magnificent. Kevin, what a great chat. I think there's some beautiful messages to share with the community out there, because we love this game and we want more and more people in it, playing it, enjoying it, loving it, talking. So I really appreciate you coming along to share this message tonight. Thank you. And good luck with things moving forward. You've got exciting times ahead, so good.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
Brilliant.
Cheers.
That's it for today's Fast Break Chat on Coach to Coach. Thanks for listening. I'm Jace, and I'll catch you next time.